Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles. Today I wanted to go through, so I am currently in a devil year, so I just enjoy doing the whole calculating numerologically what year of the major arcana am I currently in. So 2024 for me, I entered into a devil year, which is actually also one of my birth cards. So really interesting, and I feel like this seems daunting, the devil card, but I feel like since it's one of my birth cards, it's just a card I've always connected to, I guess. It just feels like the themes of this are ones that, kind of just have followed me thus far, not in any crazy horrendous way, but it's almost one of those things of this didn't feel daunting to me because it's like I know this. Like it'll be a year of working through the themes of the devil card, but I know that, you know what I mean? So I should have got this pulled up. I wasn't really thinking. I wanted to show today, basically, I put together a collection of decks that felt like they fit the theme of the devil card and how I see it. And so it just basically is a little capsule collection of decks that I'm using to work through these themes this year. And I also wanted to show, I started a digital notebook. This is not gonna... yeah, my camera's not gonna like that. That's okay. On Good Notes. So there's my cover, and what I did was, on the first page, I went through and I went to all of my favorite tarot books, and I'll add to it as I kind of go through some of the decks I really like. If I like any of the devil card definitions, I put that here. So to highlight, in case anyone here isn't super familiar with the devil card, I suppose. Some of the things I have written are: denying any spiritual component to life, the materialist pursues only personal desires, monetary, sexual, and political. The devil's power rests in the illusion that nothing else exists. I just thought that was such an interesting way to look at it. I should have wrote where I pulled that from. I think that was 78 Degrees of Wisdom, I want to say. Symbolizes the life energy locked up in the dark hidden areas of the self. For those who are not prepared to receive this energy, it can manifest as monsters. Being the slave of your own desires, feeling of helplessness and shame which results from giving in to those desires belongs to the devil. Oh, this I thought was interesting too. The acceptance of a bad situation. Eventually we come to view our unhappy conditions as normal and may even fight against change. Chaining yourself to those things that pull you down. Ooh, okay, another one. Personifies a deprived child, a part of us which we so far treated with neglect, even though we secretly and justifiably have a certain longing for it. Rationalizing toxic behavior. So those are just some of the definitions I pulled. Kind of basic, some of them maybe not so much, but yeah, that's what I was looking at when I was creating this little capsule collection. So let's get into it. This is just the devil card I have pulled out to represent. I pulled this from the new Ascension Tarot by Danielle Norman, who is also the creator of the Walking Meditation Tarot, which I love. And right away, when I was looking, I haven't had this deck long, it just came in maybe a few weeks ago from Kickstarter, but I was looking through right before the start of the new year, and this card just immediately caught my attention. I just think it's such an amazing devil card, and I haven't even really looked at all the symbology yet. It just was so striking that I've just been keeping it out as kind of my representation, so really like that. Without further ado though, let's get into the decks, starting with the Power of Surrender cards. This is from Hay House, and this I have pulled out because I'm not usually one to do a word of the year, or I just haven't before. And I wasn't necessarily planning to do so this year, but for some reason, as I was thinking about the Devil card and just the upcoming year, the word that kept coming up time and time again was surrender. And so, of course, thinking about surrender, then immediately my mind went to this oracle, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be actually really a perfect deck to use to work with that kind of devil energy, because it's all about really surrendering to certain, maybe, or surrendering certain toxic behaviors, surrendering to just kind of treating ourselves, like, look at that, surrender the habit of people-pleasing. Just treating ourselves better, surrender to the magic of who you are. So it's just a really good mix of all sorts of things I just feel like really could come up within a devil year when we're looking at the things that kind of feel binding or are hard to move past. Like something like, trying to find a good example, like surrender to setting limits. You know, that's something that it's not just gonna happen right away. That's something that we can feel very chained to, the like not setting personal boundaries. That's really something to learn. So, and I feel the same with all of these. It's not like you pull the card and you're like, okay, yep, fixed. All of these feel like really big themes that feel like things that like could kind of weigh us down, that we could be chained to, that it really needs working through. So that's really what kind of started all this and really got me onto a casual word of the year, I would say, as surrender. So Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff. This is from Hay House. Okay. I guess on that note, maybe we should just keep going with oracles, because there's not tons of oracle. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so next up, I've got the Queen Mab Oracle. Divine Feminine Wisdom from the Queen of the Fae. Now this I have pulled out because through my exploration of the devil and things surrounding just kind of that figure historically, I've come across, or I guess she's been coming up a lot, the figure of Lilith, and she's just kind of been interesting to me. And so as I've been just exploring that archetype, this is the deck that really wanted to come through, which I'm so excited about because I haven't used this one much since I've gotten it. I've just known, I don't know, I knew it was going to come out in some way, and this is it. It's got a real dark, feminine, almost like feminine rage kind of energy, which really feels perfect to that archetype of Lilith to me, who has many different interpretations, but I'm leaning into the whole idea of Lilith as mother of demons. I just think that's so interesting. And already, I mean, it's only been a few weeks into January, but I'm just finding it really interesting, the different directions you can go, because I'm looking at, of course, the devil card, but also the figure, as I said, of the devil throughout history, how that's morphed and changed, and also the idea that, you know, maybe he, like, isn't this, like, a root of evil, per se. I was reading something that was just, I mean, I think this is kind of said in a lot of how, you know, the shadow is supposed to be there to juxtapose the light. Like, we can't have one without the other, and I think that's something worthwhile exploring within this, too. So, you know, she's posed as this mother of demons, and you know, I don't personally feel like that makes like an evil entity, you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts there, but this has been a really good deck for that specific kind of exploration. So that is the Queen Mab Oracle. It comes from Blue Angel. Alright, leaning into that, of course, I've got the Fallen Angels Oracle. I mean, how could I be exploring these ideas without the Fallen Angel Oracle? Because this has also gotten me into a deep dive of these fallen angel demon figures. I just think it's so interesting, but also I just really like this oracle. I think it brings up a lot of good themes. I enjoy learning a little bit more each time I use it about these fallen angels. I think it's just really interesting. Biblical type things tend to interest me. Just like in this direction, I guess you could say. I don't know. I think there is like an interesting historical aspect to it that, I don't know, fascinates me. And so I've really been using this oracle a lot for the Devil Year, because of course we can see the technical devil figure, Lucifer, as a fallen angel. It's just a cool deck. I really like the keywords. The guidebook's really good and succinct. So, that is the Fallen Angels Oracle. Alright, what other oracles do we have in here? I think just two other ones. Yeah, okay. I've got the Zammer Twins Oracle. Basically a spoiler alert of that one of Patrick Valenza's tarots is in this collection as well. So I brought this in because of that, but I don't know. This deck has had an interesting energy to me from the get-go, and I think what it feels like to me, it feels like it's coming from this medieval place where there was this real fear around the figure of the devil, and I think it just reminds me of that time period. And so I thought this deck would be interesting in kind of exploring the innate fear most people have been taught, and certainly in this time really, really heavily existed in the figure of the devil. I just thought that would be interesting to explore, and I think this deck really leans into that. That's just kind of the vibe I get from it. Yeah, I don't, like, right? Doesn't it kind of, I don't know, it's got that medieval flair to it. Like, I feel like it's got that kind of demon energy to it. So, that is the Zammer Twins Oracle. And the last oracle in this little devil card capsule collection is a new one to me. It is the Oracle of Heaven and Hell by Travis McHenry. And I will say another spoiler, but another big inspiration behind creating this was just Travis McHenry and his decks. I just think they all kind of fit this vibe, but this one in particular I'm really excited about because, as I said before, an idea I'm exploring within this is the idea that that we need the shadow. We need to experience that, and that's exactly what this deck does. So, on one side, we've got the angel figure with their kind of main purpose. And when you flip it around on the other side, it has their like direct juxtaposition of a demon alongside with theirs. So here we have self-atonement with Mizrael, I'm probably not going to pronounce these right, and Disability and Immorality with Vapula. Isn't that, it's just interesting to really think about in what ways those kind of are direct opposites and in what ways they're not, how we can't have one without the other. Patience and laziness. Because wouldn't you think, like, patience, the direct opposite usually is impatience, but thinking about the juxtaposition of patience and laziness, and also, sometimes it's also a thing of, like, is it depending on how you're looking at it? Because say you are, say that you are waiting to do laundry until you have just a huge mountain of laundry in your laundry basket. You could see that as patience of, well, I really want to make sure there's a full load before I do laundry because I don't want to waste water or something. That could be seen as patience. Or someone else could come in and see your huge pile of laundry and see it as like, oh my gosh, they don't do laundry, like, so lazy. I don't know. I just think it's so fascinating, and I've been loving this deck. This especially, like, in combination with the Fallen Angels, just really feels like it hits at that devil card energy. And I love it so much. I want to get, he has 2 mass market decks out with Rockpool that I want to get. There's an angel one and an occult one that I think is pretty much centered around demons. I need to look into it to see, like, you know, if I have this, do I need that? But anyway, it's a really cool one. The Oracle of Heaven and Hell. Now this is available, this is an indie version, but I believe coming out in April, I think is what I saw. It is coming out mass market, so, you know, that's exciting. Something to look forward to if you want to wait for it to go mass market through Rockpool. I think April was the date. Okay, so that was the last Oracle. Let's get into the tarots I have. So, let's talk about this one first, because this I really liked using in readings with that Oracle of Heaven and Hell. And what I like to do is, I'll pull this. This was a card for the week, so I have it out still. So I pulled this card for the week, and what I did was pulled cards to represent the angel and cards to represent, like, a wider message from the demon figure. So the tarot I've been using as the angel figure is the Sacred Rose Tarot, which, if you've been here for a bit, you'll know this deck freaks me out. I had never seen it before when I bought it in store, which is rare for me to really buy something in store, because especially mass market, because usually I'll try and find it, like, used or something. But this one, it was like I just was so like, what is this? I need to know, because I'd never seen it. And it just freaked me out right away, and it gives these, like, really spooky good readings, and it feels like it has this just divine connection. So it's like, even though it freaks me out, I can't get rid of it. It has to stay. And now I feel like I've finally cracked the code of what the energy is that it gets to, and maybe why it freaked me out a little bit, because it has been working so perfectly as the angel energy side that I think, for me at least, it taps into angel energy, which, you know, before doing this exploration, just angels kind of make me uncomfortable. I don't really understand them. And so, yeah, I think that's why I had such, like, an immediate visceral reaction to this, because now it's making sense of, like, yeah, that's where this energy is going for me. So yeah, I've been really enjoying using this in that kind of reading, which has been so good. And this is what I use to get into the angel energy. So that is the Sacred Rose Tarot from US Games. And then for the demons, the rest of the tarots I have here lean more directly into that devil energy. I feel like I can use really any of these and I mix it up. Although let's look at this one first, because this one feels more neutral to me. Well, okay, it's the Terra Volatile. This to me feels a little bit more like it is in line with the part of me that is so fascinated by just studying studying the figure of the devil and looking at it in this kind of occult way almost, like seeing it as a study. This deck feels like it leans towards that energy for me. But it does, I think it's because this deck really feels very occult to me, and the way I've been studying that figure so far leans in that direction. The way I've been learning about demons leans in that direction, and so this deck is kind of like a general use one in this basket. I don't have a specific purpose for it. I don't think it specifically leans one way or another. What I do like using it for, especially with this reading, is every once in a while I feel like I need some cards in the middle as the bridge in between, and this I really like for that, because again it feels like more like neutral occult study rather than leaning heavily one way or the other. So I've been really enjoying this deck in general lately, just getting to know it, but also using it in this way. So that is the Terra Volatile. Alright. We're going to show the Travis McHenry ones last, but let's get to the other one I teased, and of course it's the Deviant Moon. This one I really enjoy using as the demon side of that reading. I just think it goes really well, so this one I probably use the most. But, I mean, of course, I mean, it's a deck that represents things like, I mean, I think it's made off of Patrick Valenza's nightmares. And so it really does feel like it gets into this kind of demon shadow space world very easily. I just love the artwork. And I think it pairs really nicely with this oracle, right? That just looks good. So yeah, I feel like, how could I have a devil card here and not pull out my Deviant Moon? Especially now that I have that big coffee book. No, not coffee book. Coffee table book. Look at that devil card. Oh my gosh. So good. I just love this deck even more. But we all know this one. We don't have to dwell. But that's in the basket. The Deviant Moon. Ooh, okay, let's look at this one next, because this is one I have in here. I'm not really sure. I just felt like it needed to go in here. But I'm not exactly sure where it falls. This one might be more towards, like, the reason I have Terra Volatile in here. But it's the Thoth Tarot. This is the pocket. I do want to get one that's a bit bigger, because I didn't realize... I knew that there was like a large version and a small version. I didn't know that there was large, small, and pocket. So, but that's okay. Because the pocket is fun, but I do really want to see the art better. So I'm gonna have to either get the small or the I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I don't know. This just feels like it's got devil card energy to me. I haven't really landed on why. I think maybe because, like Terra Volatile, it feels like, you know, it's obviously there's a lot to study with this. There's a lot of occult symbolism within this deck, and maybe I think I just relate those things to not even like just thematically the devil card. I don't think it relates thematically to the devil card, just vibe-wise, if that makes sense. I should have clarified that, but that I don't think occult things are devilish. That's not not at all what I'm trying to say. There's just a vibe about it where maybe it's the idea that I feel like it easily gets misunderstood in that direction. I don't know. It's completely a feel thing, not a literal thing. But this just felt like it needed to be in there. I don't know. I don't really know. But that is, and I mean the famous devil card from this deck. Yep. Thoth Tarot. So that's in there. In this, I have them all in a basket. When I'm saying in there, I mean the basket. Okay. One more tarot before we get into the two Travis McHenry tarots I have. The Cursed Auguries Tarot. Now this makes me think of, because of all the apples present and all the branches, it always makes me think a bit of the Garden of Eden story, but it makes me feel like this deck is like what happened after, almost. Because of course we see a lot of decay in here. So many like look at that. There's so much snake imagery. Content warning, I guess I should say. There's some gruesome images in here, and I'm just gonna hope I don't land on it. But yeah, I don't know. This has big devil card energy to me. All the snakes and the apples and the thorns. Oh, it's so good, so pretty. I've been really enjoying this one when doing just kind of general readings around the devil card. I also think this works really well with the work I've been doing around just exploring the figure of Lilith. I think this goes really nicely with the Queen Mab Oracle. Ooh, my gosh, some of these are brutal, huh? But yeah, I've been really liking that for that work. This one for that work, I should say. So good. Look at the bunnies too and the snakes. Oh my gosh. It's just too perfect. Okay, so that is the Cursed Auguries Tarot. Now, I've got two more decks to show, both of them Travis McHenry. These are out from Rockpool, so they're both mass market. Starting with the Hieronymous Bosch Tarot. Now this, I've been keeping it in the box, because like, we have his whole triptych. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It is called, it's not, I have Garden of Eden in my head, but that's not it. Garden of Earthly Delight, I think, something like that. So, usually I don't keep decks in boxes like this, but I just have to. I just have to, because that whole painting, I feel like, works so well for this devil card year. So, that's a big reason I have this deck in here. And also, I mean, there's so many odd things in here. Just so many, I mean, his artwork was outlandish and just wild. And I love it. I personally love all the weird. But like, look at that. So as I am learning about things like demons and kind of the history of the devil, the time frame and just also physical art of Hieronymous Bosch just feels like it represents all of that. And also we have things like Sin of Gluttony, River to Hell. Like, it's very, because of the time period he was painting in, it's very representative of kind of what I was talking about with the Zammer twins oracle, of this kind of mass, I don't know if hysteria is the right word, but around this mass intense fear around the devil and things like going to hell. And I just think, I don't know, I'm just so curious to explore all of those things and the history of those things. And I just think this deck gets right to that. Not to mention, I just like it in general. This is a newer one to me as well. And it's not a standard tarot by any means. But what makes it so usable is there's 3 keywords on every card. So you can still really use it like a tarot. Yeah, I'm so excited about that one. That is the Hieronymous Bosch Tarot from Rockpool. And last but not least, as I get that in its box, is the Magicians, Martyrs, and Madmen Tarot. Now this one I pretty much use as an oracle because every card has either a magician, martyr, or madman on it. And I think this deck has been such a great way to kind of peer into... Oh, are we upside down now? How did I do that? Okay, let's get that right side up. A fantastic way to really look into the shadow, look into themes around more so directly the... How did I get this all mixed up? The Devil Tarot card itself. And what I like to do is pull one of these really as an oracle and read the book about the figure. And I think what is really interesting about this deck is, even though, you know, I would hope with most of these cards that none of us can really relate, because these are some gruesome people who did some gruesome things, I do think there's things in there to discover about ourselves in these ways that, you know, these people did. Not everyone in this deck, I should say. That's not like the whole theme of the deck, but there's certainly some really like just awful things people did in this deck, and just kind of seeing that and looking within that story to, I don't know, just examine themes and monstrosities, I guess you could say. And I've just been really surprised by like how this deck has been working, because I was really apprehensive about it just with the theming. But there's like, so most times with this deck when I pull a card and read the story, of course I'm not relating most of the time directly to the person, but there's these parts of the story where it's like, oh, that made me incredibly uncomfortable, or that really poked something. Like, let's explore that. That's kind of how this deck works for me. It's just really, really an interesting deck. And really, really gets to the core, I feel like, of the Devil card theme and meaning for me. So that is the last deck I have to show you in my little Devil card year capsule collection. So I'm curious to know if any of you work with a card of the year, whether it's one you pull or you do the numerological thing. What a hard word. Like I do. How do you like to work with that card? What is it that you do? Because this is the first year I'm really doing something like this, and I'm having so much fun with it. There's just so much to explore. So, other than that, I hope you're all having a wonderful start to the weekend, and I'll see you again very soon.